and welcome to our new podcast. My name's Sam Macaulay and I will be your host, and I'm joined with Ash Hall.
Hello there.
And Chris Ballard.
Hello.
Chris Ballard's got a big smile on his face because he's nervous like the rest of us. That'll be the last time I call him Chris. It's Chippy. That's how he's known.
He's not called Chris, he's called Chippy.
He's called Chippy, that's it. So if you're tuning in, do you tune in to listen to podcasts, or what do you do? I don't know. But if you're listening to this podcast, you're probably wondering, who are these three dudes and why should I listen to them? Well, we're just three average blokes and we enjoy watching motorbike racing, and we like motorbikes in general, and we like talking about it. And for the past 3 or 4 years we've known each other quite well, and we always end up talking about bikes. But for about just over a year now, I've been not living as close to you as I was, and I can no longer talk bikes with you the way I used to, so I started doing it online. And I'm not sure if you can remember, about a year and a half ago we were having a bit of a day session and I mentioned we should do a podcast, and you just kind of thought it was like just some drunken idea. But
well, it was.
Yeah, it was. It was a drunken idea, that's true. That's exactly what it was. But it's been festering away in my head for the past year and a half, keeping me awake at night. And
yeah, we know about
that. Yeah, that's the only thing that's keeping me awake. Wondering if why shouldn't we do a podcast, and why can I not do a podcast? So this is the incarnation of that drunken idea, and I'm hoping, but I think we collectively hope that we're not just going to create something that you, the listener, can listen to, and just we want to create something that you feel you can get involved with and take part in. Message us. We've got an email address. It's podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. So if you do want to email us and get in contact with us, just use that email address and you can drop us a message, a question, anything at all. And we've got a Twitter. The Twitter is, I'll remember this, Chippy, The Big Bad BS. Is that correct?
What were you putting in before?
I was just putting Big Bad BS.
Big Bad BS.
But Chippy sent me an angry message saying, "Remember the Big Bad BS." So that's our Twitter.
It's like the straw game.
Yeah, it's a bit like the straw game, yeah, or the pen game. But if you are listening to this, then chances are you're the only one. So please send us an email or get in touch with us and let us know how we got on and what you think of it. If you think we suck, just let us know. I can deal with that. But it's better to know we suck, and then we can change and we can mould and we can make it better and a better experience for you guys listening. So, and if you want to tell us no nudes, and if you want to tell us how good we are and how amazing we've been, then that's absolutely fantastic. Do that as well. So how you been, guys? How you been?
Well, I'll let Chippy go first.
I've been alright. I've just finished the night shift. But I did get 7 hours sleep, so it wasn't like a horrible night shift. But
wait to tell your employers that you have 7 hours sleep on shift.
Just work. Just go to work at nights and sleep.
I mean, I was up all night working really, really hard.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I feel alright today. I'm playing on it a bit with the missus as well, so I'm not helping her with shopping or walking the dog or anything today.
As far as the other half concerned, we were working extremely hard.
Yes, I was. And so I'm planning on doing nothing today apart from this podcast, and then probably watching a bit of the footy later.
Do you want to tell any listeners what it was that got you really excited over the past week or so? You were messaging us, telling us how excited you were and how happy you were.
I was kind of mainly just trying to find out some news, just so we've actually got something to talk about, because obviously it's the off season, so we haven't really got a lot to say. But actually, I've come up with quite a bit that's been happening over the winter.
That still remains to be seen, Chippy. We're gonna listen to that later. I was alluding to your old man fit you had the other day down at the garden centre.
Oh yeah, my garden centre. Well, yeah, I've made the garden nice. I've got all the birds in the garden now. Got robin, starlings, blackbird. Yeah, well, 300 quid, but it's 300 quid well spent.
Because
Given
you
back to
went
Nation,
to like
you can't put a price on that.
the most expensive garden centre ever. You could have gone to B&M and got it all for 50 quid.
Yeah, if you buy cheap, you buy it twice.
Yeah, but
No, I've never got that. I've never got that reference. People are like, "Oh, buy cheap, buy twice." You can buy shoes for like £200, but if I buy a shoe for £10, I can buy 20 pairs. Sure, 20 pairs of shoes is going to last as long as that one pair of shoe lasts. That's true. I've had the house to myself all weekend, so unexpectedly, I had the house to myself. I wasn't planned, but
Well, I know what you've been doing.
do you know what I have been doing? I've been playing Elden Ring because that's all I do, and I've been listening to another podcast about Marvel movies. So I've been catching up on the Marvel movies and the ones I've not seen and filling in the gaps. It's been a class weekend, but I've been sitting here thinking we're doing a bike podcast. I've got a bike in my garden, and I'm not riding my bike. But my bike, I've got a YBR 125 because I don't really have a license yet. It's just the guy that's hosting a motorbike podcast. But
You should have got the CBR 125. It's so much cooler.
I know, but I was going for what I could afford at the time, and the CBR 125 was, well, it's not really what I could afford. It's what was within my area to go and buy. Not area of price, area as in I don't want to travel too far. But yeah, I've got the YBR 125 out in the garden, but it's not MOT'd. And like I said, I wasn't expecting to have this weekend to myself, so I didn't have the bike MOT'd. But I'm kind of thinking it would have been a great opportunity to get out on my bike. Yeah, but I didn't do it, so I've just been sitting playing.
Thing is, though, the YBR 125 is a good, reliable little 125. To be fair, there's not many other 125s as reliable, I'd say.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I got it, because I was doing not a lot of research, but I was looking on the internet as to what bike should I get. I did my CBT on a little Chinese bike. I forget the name of it. A Zona.
Probably Kimco or a Sim or they've brought. Have you seen the new one they've brought out? Well, it's not new, but they've basically called it a Yamazaki. So it's a Yamaha and Kawasaki mushed together to create a Chinese bike.
Well, I had my CBT and a Chinese bike, and I can remember thinking, "Oh, this is a decent little bike," and I talked to you about it, and you were like, "Don't get one of them." I don't know difference of the China. Apparently, the Chinese market's getting better. I hadn't a clue. Don't know. Like I say, I'm not that well rehearsed.
It is getting better. It's getting better, but the problem with Chinese bikes is they're not very reliable. If you're going to get a bike, as far as I'm concerned, go Japanese every time. Well,
in the end, I went for, because growing up it was always Yamaha, Honda. That was the two big ones. It was Yamaha or it's Honda, and then the more you get into bikes, there's Kawasaki, Ducati, blah blah blah. But when it comes to little 125s, in my head it was either going to be a Yamaha or it was going to be a Honda. So I ended up going for the Yamaha. But like I said, it's because it was close. It wasn't that far away. What about you, Chippy? How's your bike, Chippy?
Yeah,
my bike. Well, I can't actually ride a bike. I rode a moped once in a straight line. I couldn't stop it and I couldn't steer it. So I'd love to be able to ride a bike, but no, we are
the three best people to be doing a bike podcast. But Chippy is going to get his license.
The only bike he's got is the one that's on the side of his mug.
Oh, yeah. So I've been putting all the prep into doing our podcast.
I do want to do my license.
I've been putting all the prep into doing this podcast. Not all of it by myself, but I'm doing the lion's share, let's say. And so I've been downloading all the apps that I need to, and all the software I need to download, and writing the scripts and coming up with formats and putting a lot of effort into it. And these two just decide, oh, I know what we'll do. We'll just make a cup. So we've not even got a podcast out yet, and these two started making merchandise already. Talk about getting ahead of yourself.
I wanted a mug.
Didn't even make me a cup. Had to make my own cup, and then slagged me off for my cup.
Chippy offered you to make you a cup.
No, after I had already made a cup. After I'd already made a cup by that stage.
I think you're lying.
Yeah, your cup isn't great. You should have gone for the wraparound look.
Yeah, you
I've ordered another cup. I have ordered another cup with a wraparound look.
So you've now paid for 2 cups.
Well, I'll have 2. I can give one away as a prize sometime. The shit one.
I've already drank out of.
I've not drank out of it yet. I've got 3 pieces of paper in there with our names on it, so we can do our predictions later. That's what we've got. Ash looks.
Yeah, but I don't want to give someone a naff printed cup.
Well, fuck him. Now we'll get a better cup if we're going to give one away. Of course we will, guys. What about you, Ash? Have you been out on your bike recently?
I have, as you both well know, but I'll let everybody know in the podcast. I have recently purchased a new. Well, I say new. It's actually 23 years old, but it's a sports tourer. Well, you know what? For 23 years old, it is absolutely immaculate. Really, it runs really well. So what I ended up going and buying was the Honda Blackbird. And for any of you that don't know,
it's an old man's bike.
I'll give you the full. Well, do you know what? A lot of people do say it's an old man's bike, but how many old man's bikes do 176 miles per hour? You know? I mean, and it's limited to 176 miles per hour. Its actual top speed is 195.
No, it's limited because it's got your fat ass on it and it can't go any faster than that.
You know what? I haven't maxed it yet, but if I don't reach 176 miles per hour when I do max it, then yeah, I will let you know that that's the reason why I couldn't get to 176. But the Blackbird was actually built back in 1996, and it was Honda's answer for slapping Kawasaki in the face, who made the ZZR 1100. At the time, that was the fastest bike in the world. And yeah, Honda was just like, nah, we're going to make a bike that's absolutely rapid compared to yours.
I'm going to call it the Blackbird.
We'll call it the Blackbird, and they named it after the Cold War aircraft, the SR-71 Blackbird. I'm waiting for Chippy to make a sound because he hates planes. But no, didn't get that. And I got it for the same reason as you, really. I was looking for bikes, but I seen it was sort of in my area. Well, when I say in my area, it was still an hour and a half away.
But you had one prior to that. You had like a little sort of off-roader thing.
Yeah, I did. I had the Honda CRF 300L, which I was planning to do some of the Trans-European Trail on with my dad and with his mate, because they were going to do it. But I ended up having to sell it because of other reasons. And I thought, do you know what? I've sold it now. You know, it's a fairly new bike, that, so I got good money for it. And I thought, I can't have a bike in the
Can't
garage.
be without a bike. No, yeah, I'm the same. Although I've only got 125, but now it's out there. Like, I've got a 2-wheel real estate in my garden, and it's like, I've got it, and I'm going to keep it now.
Yeah, I mean, once you pass your test, you'll be able to get whatever you want.
Yeah.
I could just see you on I could see you on like a Honda Shadow or a Suzuki Marauder, and I mean, I don't know where you stand on Harleys, but I absolutely like Harleys. I like all bikes.
The listeners can't see it, but I've got like a big bushy black beard, and I just look like I used to have long hair, and I had one.
Basically, you look like Jesus.
I used to work in retail, and I had this kid come up to me and describe me as a scary Irish Viking. But the hair's growing again. I'm starting to grow the hair again. It's short at the minute, but I am starting to grow it. And yeah, I like the idea of getting like a Harley or something as well. See, the thing is, I'm nearly 40 now, and I've had like goes and bikes over the years, but I've never really gone beyond 125 because I've never learned properly to ride a bike. And I feel like I've missed out on so much, and I just kind of want to ride everything now. Bikes, yeah. I mean. So I've got that 125, but I see I'm driving up the motorway and I see a bike go past, and I'm like, I want to go on that. Everything I just can't wait. Can't wait to get the test passed. And that's another thing we'd like to do on the podcast. Like maybe you've got your test, Ash. If I get my test passed, and Chippy, if you pull your finger out and actually start learning to ride a bike, we would like to maybe do reviews on bikes.
I do need to do that.
If we do reviews on bikes, we can do reviews on kit. Like that's a direction we would like the podcast to go. But that's going to be in the future. Maybe not in the next couple of weeks, but in the future. And if I'm doing my test, or Chippy, if you're doing your test, we could maybe do a piece on it as well. Maybe put up some YouTube videos.
It is a great bike.
Yeah. Well, we'll bear that in mind whenever I come to buying a bike. What we're going to talk about now is we're going to start leading up into actual motorbike racing. This is why we've really started the podcast, because we all like watching racing, don't we? So we thought we would start with a news segment. Dun, 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 dun.
There you go. There's your bongs, Chippy.
I do need bong. You need to get me some bongs sorted.
He wants some bongs. You don't need bongs. Just start talking about the news.
No, I think we need a bong. Someone give me a bong.
Bong.
Right. MotoGP has started testing in Malaysia. In fact, it's done it now. The Ducatis are looking very strong. The Aprilia is also looking strong. But Marc Marquez and Fabio Quartararo have been expressing concerns. But obviously there's still a test in Portimao to go in March. So hopefully they can get the Hondas and the Yamahas up to speed. But the Ducatis looking really strong again, and I'm fairly certain it's going to be a Ducati-dominated season.
Ducati looks strong
again.
everywhere. They look strong on World Superbikes. They look strong on MotoGP. They just look like the manufacturer to it's just leading the way at the minute, and I can't see anybody catching them. Really?
No. They're too far ahead of everybody else.
If Marc Marquez, even though you know my opinions on Marc Marquez, but I mean, if he had been on form with that Honda, then maybe.
I don't know.
Maybe they would have had some difficulty.
If you say if he is on form with a Honda, I think for Marc Marquez to be on form with a Honda, you'd have to go back to before his accident. Ever since his accident, it's been
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
If he's
that's a whole nother subject.
To his best.
That's a whole nother subject.
Well, I'm just going to put my tempi in because you've had your tempi, so let me put mine in. I think he is almost back to his best, but I think the Honda is so far behind. That's what's letting him down. Anyway,
I've explained to you.
Someone give me another bong.
I have right. Okay, we'll not get into that. Right, bong.
Right. Good news. Last week, most motorcycle road races cancelled in Northern Ireland due to increased insurance costs. Cancelled events include the Cookstown 100, Tandragee 100.
Pronounced that right. Well done.
That word.
You said it right, Tandragee.
Thank you. Armoy Race of Legends. Is it Armoy right?
Yeah, Armoy's right. Yeah.
Sweet. Ulster Grand Prix and the Sunflower Trophy at Bishop's Court.
Yeah, Ulster Grand Prix, isn't that where you're from, Sam?
Yeah, well,
Isn't that where it's done?
Yeah, well, it's not. I'm not really from there, but yeah, I'm from Ulster, so Northern Ireland. But yeah, I'm from. There was a race called Mid Antrim 150. I'm from around there, which is also cancelled, but due to different reasons. But I'm about a 20-minute drive away from. Not now. I don't live there now. If you want to come and stalk me, I don't live there. But yeah, I grew up about a 20-minute drive away from Armoy. So this to me, this is feels quite personal. This, you know what I mean, to hear that all these races have been cancelled, because this is my childhood. Whenever I was like knee high, my dad used to take me and my brother around, well, North and South Ireland, all around the whole island, just following motorbikes. That was every Saturday. It was just sandwiches and a little McVitie's biscuit box, flask of tea, drive to a motorbike race and just watch bikes. And like these courses you're mentioning, Cookstown, Tandragee, Armoy races, Ulster Grand Prix, they just bring back so much nostalgia for me, and it really upsets me that they're not going ahead because of insurance reasons. Like, I understand it's a dangerous sport, I know that, but I've always thought that if you don't provide an opportunity for men and women to race in the Irish roads, they're going to try and get their thrills and spills somewhere else, which probably is going to end up being like on an open road. So it's going to make it more dangerous.
Or they're going to get to the Isle of Man TT and have no
experience. Well, not no experience, but they're not
that season. Yeah,
they've not had any opportunity
to.
Yeah, they've not had any opportunity to get their bike ready. They've not got their eye in with the racing. They're going to be cold. Basically, they're going to get there cold. This is.
I hope that they doesn't get to that point with the TT, because I've still never. Well, none of us have ever been, have we? Any of us been to the TT?
I've not been.
I've been.
But
very
apparently
long,
that's I can't remember now. I think that's run by someone else, and they said they're okay for now.
It's the Northwest.
They should be all
Are they
right.
cancelling the Northwest?
This is the next bit of my news. Northwest 200 is 50-50 at the minute. But the reason why all these races have been cancelled is because insurance has gone up to £400,000 plus a £300,000 excess. And the reasons for that is, the reasons include instability in the insurance market and insurers getting very concerned by the number of claims in the sport.
That 400,000 is that for the entire season or is that per race?
I think that's for the season.
And that's for the season. If we're wrong about that, just email in and let us know.
Yeah,
but
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's for the season.
yeah,
I don't think it'd be per race. That's
yeah,
ridiculous.
That's a lot.
It does seem quite high. I didn't know.
I did see there was a couple of polls this week. One of them saying, "Do you think these organisers should be able to charge a non-compulsory fee to spectators of £40?" And I think it was like 90% of people said yes.
Yeah.
So I think anybody who goes would be happy to pay 40
pay
quid
40
to watch
quid.
it.
Well-
Yeah, I'd pay 40 quid.
Whenever I was going to the races, and this was like, I left Northern Ireland in 2008, and I've never really been back for holidays and stuff, and I've seen the odd race, like Mad Antrim, Armoy and blah, but I've not been following the road racing the way I did up until that date. But whenever I was going to the races, and it's probably the same now at the British Superbikes or whatever, but you always go in and the first thing you would do is buy a programme. You would go there and you would spend a tenner and you would buy a programme. Like it was just buy a programme. And if you seen somebody walking around and they would be like, "Oh, can I have a look at your programme, mate?" You'd be like, "No, fuck off, get your own programme, go and support the organisation." That was it. It was like, stop being a cheapskate and buy a programme. Help the guys out.
Chippy would do that.
Chippy would
go
do
up
that.
to you and
Chippy
be
would
like,
be
"Can
like-
I have a look at your program,
Yeah.
please?"
You'd be like, "No,
And
go and
he'd
get
be
your own
like,
programme."
Pay.
I'll be
He'd
honest.
opening up the schedule and taking pictures on his phone of it.
Go and pay it.
I've never actually paid to get into BSB. I've
Yeah.
always had free tickets. I've never paid to get in.
Go
The
on
most I've ever
to
paid is for a.
go
The
on
most I've ever paid
to
is for a burger.
go on to Cookstown 100, and now I'm not saying it's not worth it, but going to Cookstown 100 and paying 40 quid to ultimately just stand in a field, to me seems a little bit much. I'm not saying I wouldn't pay it, but if you're paying that,
It's non-compulsory.
yeah, I know it's
This
non-compulsory,
is what they
but
suggested.
I know it's non-compulsory, but it's going to create that program situation where somebody's where somebody's going to be sitting there, having paid 40 quid, and somebody's going to be standing beside them, not having paid 40 quid. And how's that going to lead out? That would annoy me, because I'd feel obliged almost to pay the 40 quid to support the sport.
Well, but the thing is, it's to support the sport, and if you don't pay it, then it won't go towards that bloody insurance bill.
Yeah,
will
but
it?
you
So
will
it'll
get people
just
that won't
end up
pay
dead.
it. Like Chippy would, you wouldn't pay it, Chippy.
Of course you would. I'd pay it.
I would pay it. I would pay it because it's for a good thing.
But you
I
say
think
40
it's-
quid,
it's-
you pay him
if you
40
don't
quid.
pay it-
If you're paying 40 quid a week, like if you're going to Cookstown, Tandragee, Armoy, Mad Antrim if it was ever to start up again, like if you're going to these races and you're paying 40 quid, that's...
Yeah, but maybe not pay for every race, but
Yeah,
you
if
know,
you pay
like
for a few.
Yeah, I know what you
you
mean.
pay for it, like maybe split it in half.
But
Anyway,
yeah,
can I get another bong?
Bong.
bong.
Oh god, this is going to be a thing now, isn't it? We're just going to keep bonging the hell out of it.
In British Superbikes, Hawk Racing have switched from Suzuki to Honda, meaning no Suzukis on the BSB grid. Suzuki have also pulled out of MotoGP and released a statement in December confirming the GSXR 1000 will be discontinued in Europe as it does not meet Euro 5 emissions regulations.
I cannot believe
No.
that.
If it's being
can't believe
discontinued in Europe, does that mean it's being discontinued in the UK?
Yes.
Well,
Because do we fall
yeah,
under...
because
yeah,
we're
yeah,
still-
well, yeah.
Do we fall under Euro regulations anymore?
That's a good
think-
point.
I'm pretty sure, I don't know the ins and outs, but I guess that we've still got those regulations in place.
What's
But I don't
happening
know.
with Suzuki, man?
The
What's,
GSX 1000 is just such a great bike.
what's happening with Suzuki?
Brilliant.
Have they got like really bad financial problems or what?
I think they see sports bikes as not making the money
Yeah,
or something. I think
yeah.
they want to shift the focus elsewhere, but yes, I think that's where they're
To
pulling
their
out
little Suzuki
everywhere.
Swifts, their little cars. Who
I had
wants,
one of them.
Imagine Ash driving about in a Suzuki Swift.
Honestly, it was like I felt like, you know, when you get out of it and you see like a massive clown get out of a little car,
like that dude from The
yeah, that's what it
Simpsons.
felt like. Yeah. This is the only car I could afford.
There's so many warning lights on that as well.
On what?
On your car?
No, it didn't.
It did.
Not on the Suzuki, it didn't. On the Pig, it did.
It did.
The Pig, by the way, was my Nissan X-Trail that I bought, and it died after 2 months, pretty much.
Let's see, buy cheap, you buy twice.
You see, that's what happens.
Yeah, but my car's great at the moment. Running fine. Anyway, we're not talking about cars.
I don't really know what to say about the whole Suzuki situation. I just find it strange that they're such a big manufacturer. They always have been. It's like, I know there was years they weren't in MotoGP, but once they were back in MotoGP, it just seemed right. It seemed to fit. It seemed like you should have a Suzuki on the grid. And now they're not in MotoGP. You say they're not in British Superbikes. Like, what's going on? Why are they, like, just get involved? Bong.
We will see the number 1 plate being run in MotoGP this season with Pecco Bagnaia, and in World Superbike with Alvaro Bautista. We won't see it in BSB as champion Brad Ray has moved to World Superbikes, although he'll only be doing the European rounds. Tom Sykes has also made the move back to World Superbike from British Superbike, joining other Brits Jonathan Ray, Alex Lowes and Scott Reddin on the grid. 2021 BSB champion Taz McKenzie has moved to World Supersport, where John McPhee is also joining from Moto3. The last of the Brits include Tom Booth Amos and Harry Truelove in World Supersport, and Fenton Seabright in World Supersport 300.
I like Tom Sykes.
Harry Truelove. That's such a
fantastic.
cool name. It's like some sort of detective. Hey, the name's Harry Truelove.
I saw last night there was his brother has posted on Facebook. Apparently he's lost his leathers, and they're asking if anybody, a spectator or anyone that's going to the race, has got a spare set that they could lend him.
Very professional.
Lost on his flight's over.
How do you lose your levers?
So run
He
through
got
them.
lost in his baggage apparently.
Run through them
right,
again.
okay.
So who's the? You said the Brits and World
Right.
Superbikes,
Brits and World Superbikes. We've got Brad Ray that's just moved up from British Superbikes.
but
He
he's only
absolutely
doing the
dominated
European
last
rounds.
year. Only doing the European rounds. I think they had was it Tamburini last year, and I think they only did the European rounds with him last season as well. So we've got him. We've got Tom Sykes, who's moved back up, but I honestly think he's past it now.
Tom Sykes is class.
What bike's Tom Sykes on?
He's signed for Puchetti Kawasaki. I don't know if that's how you say it.
Kawasaki again.
He's on a Kawasaki, but last year he was on a Ducati in BSB, and he had a shocker of a season.
I can't see
was
Tom
bad.
Sykes doing anything. Really?
I can't.
Can't help but like him, though.
Well, of course, because you're a Yorkshire lad.
I
Of
knew
course
you were
you're
gonna
going to
say
like
that.
him.
I
I'm
knew
from
you were gonna
Yorkshire
say
and I like Yorkshire tea and Yorkshire puddings and everything Yorkshire.
Yorkshire pudding's in the blood.
Yorkshire puddings are a waste of
There's a
time.
lot of Yorkshire pudding in your blood.
The Yorkshire puddings are not a waste of time.
They are a waste of
They're
time. They
not a
just
waste
take
of
up
time.
room in the plate.
They- No, they make a Sunday roast. How good is it when we have a Sunday roast at yours, Chippy? And Nicola makes
I'll
Yorkshire
do
puddings.
admit, yeah, that they are good, but
There you go.
I wouldn't say they're specific to Yorkshire. I don't
They
think
are,
you need to
though.
be so proud of them, like you've invented them.
Well, we did.
Basically, a pancake.
A pancake gone wrong.
Anybody
So
can make
basically,
it.
what happened is
It's not called a
Some-
Yorkshire pancake. is
somebody
it? It's
from
a
Yorkshire tried to make pancakes and they ballsed it up, and then they went, "Oh, I guess that Yorkshire pudding." Then I don't know what they said. I think they're a waste of time. I'd rather just eat more potatoes, to be perfectly honest. Just sticking to my little
You would eat more
stereo,
potatoes, wouldn't you?
sticking to my stereotype there. I love potatoes.
You
mate.
would eat more potatoes because you're scared that they're going to run out.
Right, we're getting
Again.
we're getting off topic here. Getting off topic, right? So
Don't even get started on
basically,
Yorkshire
Chippy and
tea.
I are the two sensible ones who realise that Tom Sykes, he's a good rider. He's obviously a hell of a lot better than I am and ever will be. I don't
He's
know
world
why.
champion.
Yeah, he was world champion, and he was very close to being world champion. Like the year prior, or a couple of years before that, he was like half a point away or something, if I'm correct. Something like that. Whenever Max Biaggi won it, it was something like that. Was it him or was it the other guy, Laverty? I'm not sure.
I can't
Anyway,
remember.
he was
That was
close.
before I started
He
watching
became
live properly.
he became world champion, and he was close to becoming world champion previous to that. So he is a good rider. Don't want to disrespect him, but I can't see him doing much on the grid.
We've also got Jonathan Ray,
Yeah,
who I think he'll be up at the front again.
Legend.
They've had how did they word it? Let me find it. So yeah, Kawasaki have announced they've got an upgraded engine spec for this year to hopefully try and
Be more
give
competitive.
Ducati a bit less of an advantage.
Yeah.
Stick an
Yeah,
H2
basically.
engine in it, it'd be right. They won't know.
So fingers crossed, Jonathan Ray will be winning a few more races this year.
I'm going
Obviously,
to.
Alex Lowe's also on the same bike.
I'm going to be a little biased. I like the Lowe's brothers. I'm going to be a little biased, but I want Jonathan Ray to win. Of course I do. We're practically from the same area. We're a similar age. A little fun fact, Jonathan Ray, if you're listening, me and you were born in the same hospital. I read it in your book, Waveney Hospital. Both born in the same hospital. Obviously at different times, probably at different beds. I would like to think they changed the bed sheets between it, but there you go. We're born in the same hospital. Yeah, so I would obviously what I
I
see.
very much doubt he's listening.
No, probably
Maybe
not.
you've got swapped.
maybe that's it. But, no, I think I don't think we're the same age. I don't think we're exactly the same age. If we did get swapped, then they got the good end of the bargain. But no, we didn't get swapped. Yeah, obviously I want to see Johnny Ray doing well. I would like to see him win another title. I just want to see him clean up. That's what I want. But like I said, I'm biased. But there's every opportunity he can. He's on a decent bike. He's a fantastic rider. He's still hungry. He obviously still wants it. So here's hoping that he can mount a good challenge to the Ducatis. And Alex Lowe's, I like
shall see.
I like the Lowe's brothers. I've always liked the Lowe's brothers, and I always want to see them doing well. But they just seem to be missing something.
Do, but they never do.
I know they just
Yeah,
always seem to miss.
I always
something.
get them mixed up. I always get the brothers mixed up.
I think it's in World Superbikes, Sam's in Moto 2.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just get them mixed up every time.
You mentioned some other British riders that are in there too. Scott
Scott
Redden.
Redden.
Scott Redden.
Obviously
He's on a BMW.
Ducati a couple of years ago.
Now he's on a
He's on
BMW.
BMW now. And had big problems last year of getting the bike stopped.
Yeah, his big problem is
but
he's on a
hopefully they'll get
BMW.
that
That's a
sorted.
big problem.
Yeah, but the BMW is a good bike. It is a good bike.
But it's never mounted
It is a
anywhere.
good
It's
bike.
never come anywhere close to any sort of
Yeah.
title contention. Has it even won a race? Probably won a race.
I know what you mean, but it's just such a
Obviously, I think
well-made bike.
Obviously, I think there was maybe some of the decisions was taken out of his hands. Like you can't just choose who you go to; they have to want you to go there. But I just don't think I can't see BMW mounting the title challenge now or any time in the near future. Can't see it.
Yeah, it's going to be.
okay.
I think I agree with Chippy what he said earlier. I think it's going to be very much a Ducati-dominated season
Yeah, I
for
think so.
most of the bikes. But
And,
I do want to see Johnny Ray back up there.
But Brad Ray, I can understand why. Well, I can't understand why because that's why I'm going to ask the question. He's only doing the European rounds. Is he still going to be doing
Yes.
the British Superbikes when he's not doing the World Superbikes?
No, just Worlds this year.
But he's only doing the European rounds.
Yeah, so he's not going to be in contention for the title.
So where's the
Which I
where's the
don't think he would have
benefit
been
in
anyway.
that? Where is the benefit in that?
Yeah, I was going to say,
Like, where's
why
the benefit?
bother?
Where's the
I mean, it
benefit
is-
for the team, and where's the benefit for Brad? Like
Well, I'm hoping for
Brad's
Brad,
maybe
I'm hoping
Brad
he-
Ray's maybe rubbing his hands now,
Yes.
thinking happy days. I get to ride in the World Superbikes, and yeah, I'd be doing that as well.
Yeah.
But if you're a British Superbike champion, he's British Superbike champion.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you would want to step up from that and go further. So why would you're kind of cutting your hands off there? Just you can't even win the championship. You can't even mount a challenge really.
if he can impress, if he can impress in the rounds that he does do, hopefully he'll get onto a better team that competes in every round next year.
Yeah, well, I suppose
And,
if the
hopefully-
team he's riding's struggling financially, maybe, or
And I mean, it's his first year in World Superbikes. He's got to get used to all the electronics because that's a massive difference. So maybe this year he can sort of treat as a
it's maybe a good thing doing that, going for the European rounds, because it maybe takes a lot of the pressure off. Because you think I'm not here to win the championship. I'm just here to show what I
Yeah.
can do. Like you think about Josh Brooks won the British Superbikes and then went to World Superbikes, and you think because he's Australian, he's an international, like compared to BSB, he'd go to World Superbikes and be really good at it and do really well, and he ended up not having a great season and coming back to British Superbikes. So yeah, it's maybe good. It's maybe a 1-1 situation. Hopefully, like you say, he can do well. The team can benefit. He can benefit, and then moving forward from that, they can have a full team, full outfit for the following year. Yeah, I would like to see Brad Ray do well.
Yeah, me too. So going on to the World Supersport, we've got Taz McKenzie, who was so unlucky last year. So in the off season, he got injured And then in testing just before the 2022 season, he got injured again. Missed the first 2 rounds, came back from injury. He got into the showdown, and then unfortunately got hit by Peter Hitman. It was just unlucky. At Alton Park, broken his femur, ruled him out for the rest of the season. He had a really unlucky season, but he did impress when he rode.
Yeah.
And this year he signed for MIE MS Honda Racing Team in World Supersport. So fingers crossed.
So hopefully he can.
impress, but obviously-
Hopefully he can build a little bit of momentum and do a bit better than last year.
Yeah, hopefully. But I mean, I had a look last night at the riders in World Supersport, and it is unreal. There are some really, really good riders in it this year.
Well, we're going to have
John McPhee.
John McPhee's in there.
John McPhee.
Yeah, I don't know where he's going to finish. He could either be really good or really crap. He could finish
It's going to
absolutely
go
anywhere.
he's going to end up on his side a lot.
I think John
Well,
McPhee
I hope
was. I've explained how I feel about it. I think he was really unlucky in Moto3. I've always said that he's got a few years in the clock. That's why he had to leave Moto3 because he was getting too old. And he's in my head. He's a mature rider making mature decisions, but he's going into corners with lads that are like 15, 16 who are just throwing everything at it. And he got tripped up quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a mentality you need to have in Moto3, but it kind of is. But if you're making the mature decision and trying to think of where your line is, like sometimes if you can try too hard. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. I think maybe he was trying too hard rather than just trying to not ride it naturally, which you can't whenever you're older. You just need to listen to me as if I know what I'm talking about. But that's my opinion. I think he was unlucky, and hopefully,
I think a lot of the time as well it wasn't even his fault. Most of the time, it was just getting wiped out by other riders.
yeah, some young lad who just
That's why he ended up having that scrap on the track, didn't he?
Yeah, so hopefully now that he's in World Supersport amongst, similarly minded people who, maybe a bit more mature. We'll see. It still remains to be seen. I'd like to see John McPhee do well. Obviously, he's a British lad.
I would as well.
I would.
Yeah.
Flying the flag
We've
for
got Tom
Scotland.
Booth Amos and Harry Truelove as well in World Supersport. So I think who was it? I have to edit this bit out.
Every time you say you have to edit
Tom
that, I'm
Booth
not going to edit it.
Tom Booth Amos finished 23rd last year in World Supersport, and he's also going to be racing in British Supersport this season as well. So he's got a busy season.
He's got a busy season, him. He thinks he's He-Man. He can just do everything.
Maybe he can. He might surprise us.
And Harry Truelove, he's making a step up again. He finished 3rd in British Supersport last year. And finally, World Supersport 300, we've got Fenton Seabright. He finished 35th last year, which was second to last. Hopefully he can do something, but I don't know if he will. He did finish 3rd in the British Talent Cup in 2019. That was the year that Scott Ogden won it. And obviously he's now in Moto3. So he's a good rider, but I don't know if he's at that level.
There's a lot of Brits on the paddock. That's good to see. There always is in like World Superbike paddock. There's always a strong British contingent there. It's good to see. I like to see that. Supporting all of them. I want all the Brits to do well. All of them.
Yeah.
I'd just like to see one in MotoGP. That's really gonna.
Yeah, that's all we're missing really from MotoGP.
I think if Jonathan Ray had been given the chance in MotoGP, he maybe would have been able to fly that flag, but wasn't to be.
Yeah, I agree. It would have been nice to see him in MotoGP.
Yeah. We've also got in World Superbikes next year, Danilo Petrucci on a Ducati, and Moto2 champion, next MotoGP rider, Remy Gardner. Who ran for GRT Yamaha.
Yeah, I read his name and I was like, was he always in that paddock or did he move? Because I read Remy Gardner and I was like, I swear I've seen him somewhere else. Was he Moto2 rider?
Yeah, he was
Remy
on
Gardner
KTM
was
last year.
Yeah, it was KTM, wasn't he?
Yeah, KTM last year. He didn't have a good season. Nobody really did on the KTM, but yeah, hopefully this year he'll do well, because I do quite like him.
Have you got any more news?
I've got 3 more.
Right.
Bong.
Give me a bong. This is more about rule changes and format changes. So in BSB, there's going to be a new point system and showdown. The season will be split into main season and showdown. However, there will no longer be 8 title fighters or podium credits, whilst points will no longer be adjusted at the
end of the season. Instead, all riders' points will roll over into the new showdown phase. Throughout the year, there will be 3 different point systems in place, each of which will see the gap between positions lessened in order to keep the championship tighter and ultimately allow far more riders to be in with a chance of becoming champion at the last round at Brands Hatch.
I'm going to be totally honest.
What do you think of that, then?
I'm going to be totally honest. I didn't really understand the whole showdown business before, and I understand it even less now after you saying that.
It's just really confusing.
It's really confusing. Why can they not just let them race and give them points? You won this many, you won that many.
Yeah.
I know they're trying. I know they're trying to keep it competitive.
Tight.
They're trying to make it so the last race of the season anybody can win it. But it just I get confused. They start talking about showdown and points this and points that, and I just switch off. I just like watching bikes go round in a circle really fast to see who's going to win the race. You know what I mean? That actually kind of puts me off. If you're listening, BSB, stop making it so confusing. Because I'm stupid and I don't know what you're doing. I'm a thicko. I don't understand. No, if it makes it more exciting, then all good. That's good. I like that, but I find it hard to understand me.
Yeah, I do.
You read it. You researched it. You just read through it. You read it. You researched it. Do you understand it?
I've researched it. I understand bits of it. I understand the theory behind it, but it's until I actually see it, I don't know if I'm going to understand it.
For me, it's like trying to understand cricket. You just don't get it.
You might have to explain it to me. You're from Yorkshire. How do you not like cricket?
Yes.
You're the worst Yorkshireman ever. You say you like Yorkshire tea, and the picture of Yorkshire tea on the cover is a picture of people playing cricket. You have to like cricket.
Yeah, but no, I don't have to like cricket. Cricket is boring.
You're the worst Yorkshireman ever.
Yorkshire tea's not even from Yorkshire anyway.
Sean Bean would be disappointed. You bastard.
No, he wouldn't be disappointed because I drink Yorkshire tea. You bastard. I've watched that video 4 times this year.
Right, let's not say it. We'll edit it all out. Right, so what were you saying there, Chippy? Sorry, we interrupted you.
Right, give us another bong.
Bong.
World Superbikes are confirmed there won't be a minimum rider or bike combined weight. The World Superbike Championship is now mature. It is necessary to ensure the continuity of this category and to maintain the technical rules that have been made to its current success. The question of a minimum combined weight has been ruled out by the Superbike Permanent Bureau.
That's good. I like that because
from their website,
that was a massive advantage to like Alvaro Bautista because he's tiny. He's tiny.
Yeah.
So and you get bigger lads like Tom Sykes. I don't think like he's not a big fat. He's not Ash like, but you know he's
Scott Reddin.
Yeah, Scott Reddin's a big lump of a lad. Yeah. So if they're jumping in, predominantly, I know they're different bikes and different manufacturers, but whenever you fine tune them, get them down to what they are, they're all very similar, really. I know some people will be listening to this going, what is he talking about? He hasn't a clue. But my point is, when it comes to weight, there's not going to be a massive difference. Whoever's putting their leg over the bike is going to make a huge difference when it comes to weight. And Alvaro Bautista had a massive advantage as a juxtaposition. He had a massive advantage for being a tiny guy. So, yeah, I like that rule. It's more like just let them go and race.
Yeah. Yeah, agreed.
But,
give us another bong.
Is this the last one? Is this the final bong?
This is the last one.
Bong.
The biggest rule change is in MotoGP, where sprint races will now be happening every Saturday afternoon. It will have no effect on the starting grid for Sunday's race, and it will be half race distance with half the points available. There will be 2 practice sessions on the Friday, which will determine who goes straight to Q2 in qualifying, with the free practice 3 on Saturday before qualifying, which is basically the old FP4. And the sprint race will be every Saturday at 3 p.m. Sunday will consist of a warm-up only for MotoGP. There won't be a warm-up for Moto2 or Moto3. And the main MotoGP race will be at 2 p.m. local time. And MotoGP is always going to be the last class to run on a Sunday from 2023.
Oh, cool.
Because sometimes it was...
sometimes they changed that
sometimes it's
because of the
Moto2.
time of day. But that was all because of like warm-ups and stuff with Moto3 and Moto2. So now if they're not doing warm-ups, they can slot MotoGP in where it needs to go. I'm really excited for the sprint races. I know you're not as keen in the sprint races. Am I right?
I'm not sure yet.
I'm really looking forward to
how
them.
it was before.
I'm really looking forward to them. To be honest, I think the sprint races might benefit Marc Marquez because he's good in
I
them.
hope so.
He's good in them early laps. The likes of Maverick Vinales will struggle because he's crap at the start of a race. He's going to struggle with him because I thought I've got Vinales down as one to watch for 2023 because he was doing good. He was doing quite well on that bike.
Yeah, the
Last
Aprilia
year.
is strong this season.
Yeah, the Aprilia was picking up at the end of last season. I thought he was doing well. And then I seen the sprint races and I was like, oh, that's not really going to suit Vinales well at all. He's going to be at the back. He's coming last after about 10 laps.
No, I think
Yeah.
Vinales has been, 2015, 16? Was it back then?
What
When
do
he
you...
was like, he was on the Yamaha and he was just flying. He was doing really well, and then ever since then, it's just gone worse and worse for him.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the sprint races. It'll be good.
I'm with Chippy on this. We'll start watching it and see how it is.
What do you think?
Me
Of
and
the,
Chippy like to have little bets.
what do you think of the sprint races?
There's
and,
another round of betting.
what do you think of the sprint races in World Superbikes?
Yeah, but they are pretty cool because they do give it a hell of a lever.
And it's more racing at the end of the day. I love it. It's just more racing.
Yeah.
My wife's going to hate it because I'm going to be like, just more bikes. Next week,
Yeah, but
whenever
now
the
we've got
bike,
the excuse of the
next
podcast,
week,
we
whenever
have
the
to
bike
race it.
starts,
Don't have to watch it.
yeah, whenever the bike starts next week, my wife is just like head in hand. She's like, "Oh, here we go," because I do watch football. I'm not a massive football fan, but I do watch it. And I watch some other sports, but you see, whenever the bike starts, everything just goes out the window. I'm like, no. My wife's like, oh, we want to go and do this at the weekend. Fuck off, bikes. It's like, oh, can we do this? Can we plan this? And I'm like, how long? There's a race that weekend. And sometimes she's like, it's American Superbikes. And I'm like, who cares? I can watch dudes and some lassies, but dudes riding around really fast on motorbikes. Why would I do anything else when I can do that? With beer in hand, feet on table, watching people live the life I wish I had. Sad face.
Yeah.
No, I love it when the bike starts. I can't wait.
Yeah,
I
my
can't
wife
wait.
isn't looking forward to it either.
I can't wait. Next week.
I still think it's weird that you're married, Chippy. Were you saying my wife? It's just strange.
Oh, this
Yeah,
feels
I
very
know.
strange. We just always had you down as a weirdo that would never get married.
Yeah.
What does she see in you?
I genuinely, I do not know. I go around there, he doesn't lift a finger. Like it's unbelievable.
She seems like such a nice lass too, and here she is, married to Chippy. No, I can't wait for next week. I can't wait for the bikes to start. I'm so looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
I'm looking forward to
Every year, whenever it stops, it just seems to take so long for the bikes to start, and it's such a slow build up. And then once the World Superbike starts, you've got another big gap between the first round in Phillip Island and then the rest of it and the MotoGP starting. Once it gets into its flow and it's just World Superbikes, British Superbikes, MotoGP, and you've even got like American Superbikes and some Australian Superbikes. Once it all starts, I love it. I'm just in my element, just sitting watching bikes. Sometimes I've got like 3 screens on. I've got like Eurosport on in one and BT Sport on my phone. I'm just sitting there, just surrounded by bikes. My wife's shaking her head. I love it.
That's when I prefer to be in the pub. Actually, whenever we've gone to watch the bikes at the pub, it's been decent.
I prefer watching the bikes on my own. 'Cause
I know
can
You
you
prefer
do.
doing everything on your own, Chippy. Everything you do on
Yeah,
your own.
that's true, actually.
You're such a loner.
But I like it.
I'm
Yeah, but how
surprised.
good was it when we were in that Irish pub?
Yeah, it was good. I wouldn't want to do it every time, though.
No, not every time. But yeah, it was good though.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
But,
That is the end of the news.
that is the end of the news.
thing worth mentioning is there's a new Marc Marquez All-In documentary coming out on the 20th, which is tomorrow, as we're
recording.
this. But
It's already
it's all about
happened.
his charting his recovery from injury, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
I know
to it.
you lot probably
Probably
won't watch
gonna.
it.
I'm probably gonna skip that.
Ash doesn't like Marc Marquez. I'm definitely going to watch it. Like it's bikes, anything bikes. I watch it. I love it.
I'm not much closer to the edge.
I'm
Again.
not the biggest fan of Marc Marquez. I'll admit, but he's a phenomenal rider, and I want to see what he's going through. Like there's no.
Oh yeah,
doubt
he's
about
a phenomenal rider. There's no doubt about that. Well,
I like Marc Marquez.
he was a phenomenal rider.
He's still a phenomenal
is,
rider.
just like
Anybody
up and down.
in MotoGP, even if they're coming last, is a phenomenal rider.
I'll agree with you. He's brilliant, but ever since he's had that accident, he's just not been.
Well,
on
nobody's
form.
the same after a big accident like that.
Well,
But
they're not.
it
but-
remains to be seen if he can mount a challenge.
the
We'll see.
bike.
We'll see if he can mount a challenge. We'll not get into it too much. I think in the future we could do a whole podcast just basically on Marc Marquez and how Ash and Chippy feel about it. We could do a whole podcast on it. But for now, we'll just keep it on the wraps. Let's not give the listeners everything all at once. Let's hold back a little bit. Let's just
Fair enough.
Let's just wind it in a little bit, slow it down, not get too angry, and go on to our next segment. This could be a yearly tradition. I say yearly tradition like we're going to take off. This is our first episode, as I've mentioned.
Yeah, we're going viral. We're
Yeah,
going
we're
to
going
have like
viral.
10,000 listeners.
So
on
I've
the first one.
got a Big Bad Bike Show cup. I'm not giving it away, by the way. That's later. But I've got a Big Bad Bike Show cup, the crap one, these guys' toilet, because I didn't get it printed on my cup right. But in there, I've got 3 names, which are our names: Ash, Chippy, and Sam. And I'm going to pick them out at random as I can be, considering there's only 3 of them. And then we're going to go through one at a time, giving our predictions for the MotoGP, World Superbikes, Moto2, Moto3, Super Sport, and British Superbikes. Does that sound about right? Am I missing anything?
Is this prediction
Sounds
for
good.
first, second, third then?
Well, I've not
Just the winner.
I've just gone for winner.
Just the winners.
Yeah, that's
Oh, okay.
far too much work finding out second and third. You get to Moto3 and you just throw a dart at the names and see who you're going to come out with. I'm going to pick these names from a hat, and I'll pick them at random. I know you can't see me because my camera's not working, but I've got 3 names. They're all folded up. They all look pretty much the same right now. So I'll pick whoever goes first. Will go first every time, and whoever goes. I'm not picking them every one. So first is, and I know who this is already. I can kind of see the name. Oh, Ash, you're first.
Damn it.
Second is Sam.
Brilliant.
And third is Chippy. So, MotoGP,
So-
Ash Hall. This is your prediction.
Yeah.
We're going to look back at this at the end of the season and see who was anywhere near close with their predictions. So, MotoGP.
Okay.
Please don't pick any of mine.
Yeah. Well, and the rule is you're not allowed to pick the same person. If somebody picks yours, you've got to pick somebody else. It's no fun if we all pick the
Oh,
same
I'm glad
person.
I'm going first then.
Should I draw the names again?
I haven't really had a... No!
Drop the names again.
Right.
I need to... Oh, you proper put me on the
Ash is
spot.
currently-
What do you mean I put you in a spot? I sent a message in the WhatsApp channel last night saying we were going to do this in the podcast. Don't say I've put you on the spot. You've had all night to do this.
Right, okay.
Chippy's done the news.
Yeah, well...
I've done the
playing-
script.
I was playing Hogwarts Legacy. What do you want from me?
All you did was talk about your old man bike. That's all you had to do.
Yeah, that's all you asked me to do.
And I asked you to
It's not
prepare.
an old man bike.
I asked you to
It's an
prepare.
absolute
I asked you to prepare for
powertrain
this
on the
part.
road.
Anyway, who have you got down for your MotoGP champion?
Right, MotoGP. I'm gonna have to say Fabio Quartararo.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. He's had problems with his Yamaha and stuff like that, but
I'll be honest, last year, Ducati should have won it last year, straight up. But last year,
Yeah.
midway through the season, Quartararo was away ahead, and at that point he had it in the bag, and then he lost it. So I think at the start of the season, Ducati should have won it, but at the half point last year, I think it was Quartararo's to lose, and he did lose it. So it's fair enough shout. Quartararo could win. Yeah, he's a decent rider. He just needs a bit of luck, and Yamaha had to pull their finger out and give him a decent bike. What about you, Chippy?
that's what I think on MotoGP.
Yeah. What do you think, Chippy? Who's going to win MotoGP?
I thought it was you to go next.
Oh, it is me to go next. That's right. Sorry. It is me to go next. So, Sam, what do you think? Right, so I am going for Bastianini.
You arsehole. That's who I was going to go for.
I think he had a great season last
honestly
season.
think-
I think he could have done a little better last season, but I think he had a great season, and I think now he's on the full factory bike. As I honestly think he's going to mount a really good challenge, and yeah, so I'm going to go for him. That's who my MotoGP pick. Hopefully, he proves me right. Come on,
Right,
Bastianini.
now sift through the rest of it, Chippy. Come on. Who you having?
No, I honestly think Bastianini is going to win it, but obviously I can't pick him. So now I'm trying to think. I'm going to have to go with Pecco Bagnaia because
Well,
that
that's
Ducati's just
a
something
fair enough
else.
shout, that.
Although Alex Marquez, I think will be.
Alex Marquez is not going to do anything.
He's not going to be up there. I
He's
don't know
on
where
a
you're getting that
Ducati.
from.
I don't know
He's
where.
on a
So
Ducati.
what?
You watch this year.
Right.
You watch this year.
I think he threw
We'll see
up.
at the end
I
of the
think he
year.
threw
In
up the
fact,
road quite a
I'll go
lot.
with Alex Marquez then.
I think Alex
I'll
Marquez.
go with Alex Marquez then.
You're going with Alex Marquez to win the GP?
I'll go with Alex Marquez.
I
yeah.
think he
Alright,
threw up
okay.
the road quite a lot. I've got down. Now this is, you don't have to do this, but I've got down who my favourite MotoGP rider is, who I've got one to watch, and who's the biggest. I think made the worst decision last year to move bikes, or who's going to be the biggest flop. I don't know if any of you have got that, but I've got that down.
Biggest flop.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I'll give you mine.
I know who my biggest flop's going to be, and do you know what? It's actually broke me a little bit because I really like him.
Who?
yeah, I'm thinking.
Alex Rins.
Alex Rins. What about you, Chippy?
Yeah.
Come back to me in a minute.
Yeah, he was going
I
to say
think-
Alex Rins.
I think
Yeah, I think he's going to be a flop. But
the same as the
I
same
honestly-
build up as what you said, Ash. I don't want to pick this person. I think every time they're on TV, I think they're class, and everybody in the paddock seems to like him. But I don't think he's made a great decision. Again, it was maybe taken out of his hands, but for me, Jack Miller
Yeah.
on the KTM is I can't see much happening there.
Yeah. I can't either.
Yeah,
And that's who Chippy was going to say.
no. I can think of like 3 or 4 which I think are going to be crap. But Takaki Nakagami, I think
yeah.
he's crap.
I side there.
Where
I
does
like
he go?
Nakagami. He's a decent rider. He's just doesn't seem to pull it all together when he needs to.
Sorry,
Dijan Antonio as well. He's on a Ducati. He just doesn't perform. I can't pick. Morbidelli.
I've got
Again, crap.
I've got one to watch as Vinales, but I've explained that already. I think Vinales did well in the Aprilia last year, but then I don't think the sprint races is going to help him out at all. And then my favourite rider, who I would love to see him just win a race, absolutely my favourite rider, Johan Zarco. I love Johan Zarco. I think he's
Zarco.
class. I want to see the flipping Frenchman or the flying Frenchman or whatever it is he does. I want to see that again. I want to see him win a race. I don't even know if he can do a backflip anymore, but I would love to see Zarco win a race. He's been so close so many times, even when he was on the Tech 3. Oh, I really badly want him to win a race. Come on, Zarco. But ultimately, he's not. I don't think he'll mount a title challenge, but anyway. Right. World.
I think Bastianini is going to win.
Well, you're not allowed to pick Bastianini. You picked Bagnaia.
Yeah, I know, but that's who I think is actually going to win.
Right. So, World Superbikes. Should we go the opposite way this time? Chippy, Sam, Ash, or should we?
No, keep it the right way.
Well, it's not fair if Chippy's always going to have to go last.
Yeah, but he's always last. Look at him.
Right. Well, I
I'm
think.
always just left with the crap that nobody else wanted to pick.
Right, go, Chippy, go first.
Right, you go first, Chippy.
Right, I think it's going to be Alvaro Bautista again. I just can't see anybody catching that Ducati.
Right.
And
Well,
he's quite consistent on it as well.
I am going for Danilo Petrucci.
Good shout, actually.
Good shout, yeah. And he's on the Ducati,
Yeah,
so
good job. I'm going to have to keep it with Johnny Ray.
yeah.
I hope he wins.
I've got Johnny
I'm
Ray
gonna have
down,
to keep
like
it
same
in.
as before. I've only done this for MotoGP and World Superbikes. I've got favourite, one to watch, and flop. Johnny Ray's down is my favourite. I've mentioned that before. I would love him to win the World Superbikes. I don't know if he will, but he is my favourite and he is the one I want to win. But when I say who I think's going to win, I think it's going to be Danilo Petrucci. One to watch. Now, I've just picked this name out of a hat because it's somebody I enjoy watching and I really hope they can do well. But I've got Garrett Gerloff. I really enjoy watching him flying the flag
no.
for American riders.
No, I think he's going to be the flop.
You think so? You think he's going to be the flop? I've got
Potentially.
Scott Redden down as the flop.
Tom
That
Sykes is
BMW.
the flop.
Right, Moto 2.
No, I've still got Tom Sykes as being the flop.
Ash, have you picked your
We're
world?
doing
No, you
Moto
did.
2 as well.
Yeah, I'm doing Moto 2, Moto 3, World Supersport and British Superbike.
Oh, I thought you were just doing MotoGP, World Superbikes, and
Oh my god, he
PSP.
does not listen.
No, or read WhatsApp
Sorry.
messages. Moto 2, who have you got, Ash, as your Moto 2 champion?
oh bloody hell, I don't know.
Do you want me and Chippy
I
to
haven't
go
thought
first?
about it.
Do you want me and Chippy to go first? I'll give you mine.
Yeah, you go first.
I've not gone first yet. Pedro Acosta.
Well, then. You arsehole, that's who I was going to pick.
I do something the way I pick that.
I was going to pick Acosta. Yeah, I think he's going to win it, I think.
So who are you
I'm
going to
gonna
pick?
go. No, go on.
No, just
I'll go with Aaron Canet for second,
these little glasses.
but I think Acosta's going to win it.
Who you picking, Ash? As he scrolls
I'm
through
gonna have
the.
to go with Dennis Hoggy, I think.
This hoggy.
Nah, not a chance.
He's obviously just picked the name out of the hat there.
Yeah,
No,
he has.
I mean-
He's moved up from Moto 3, which he didn't win last year.
Who have you got
I know,
down?
but
He's going to do nothing.
Who have you got
I'm
down
kind
for?
of on the spot with it.
Who have you got down for Moto 3? But let's be honest, Moto 3, like I say, you can't just pick a name out of a hat. It could be any one of them.
You two go first again.
You go first, Chippy.
I'm going to go with Jose Antonio Rueda.
Right. I'm going Dennis Onchu.
He's on the Cape. Oh, it's his teammate. Because they're both on the Akiayo KTM, which always do well. And also that Rueda blitzed the Red Bull rookies last year.
There was a wee lad last year, I think he was Spanish or French or something, but his name was like Monye or Monet, or I can't mind his name. I had it written
David
down.
Munoz.
Yeah, something like that. He was only like 15,
Anna
16.
Carrasco's teammate.
He was smashing it for like a 16-year-old, and I thought he might do well, but I don't think he'll win it. I'm not even sure if I've got that name right or if I'm talking
Yeah.
about the right person, but there's a young lad in there who impressed last year, and I'm going to keep an eye on him, and hopefully...
Yeah, he did do well.
Have you got anybody for Moto 3?
Bernardi's back in it this year.
Who?
Bernardi.
Yeah. Let's see.
He's back in
For
Moto 3
for
again.
Moto 3, I'm going to go. What's her name?
Anna
Thingy
Carrasco.
Bob.
Anna Carrasco.
Anna
Yeah.
Carrasco.
To win the championship.
Yep. Why not? Big up the women.
Yeah, I hope. I've got daughters. I want girls to do well. Come on. I'd like to see her win a
don't
race at
know,
least.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it. I know for sure she's not going to, but imagine she won a race. It would be
His
absolutely
face.
fantastic. His face is right.
She's going to finish last in every race like she did last year.
Right. Well, we'll see about that. That's your prediction. If she doesn't finish last in at least one
That's my
race,
prediction. She'll finish last in every race.
right? Well, we'll see. Well, you mean last
I
as
only
in
picked her to annoy you.
she'll be
That's
the?
the only
You
reason
mean
why
she'll be
I
the last
picked
one
her
to
annoy you.
finish because people might fall off and then she technically doesn't finish last. So you mean the last one to finish? World Supersport.
Yes.
Are we going too far with World Supersport and well, we need British Superbikes. Who do you think's going to win British Superbikes?
Glenn Irwin.
Oh, fuck off. That's who I had.
Yeah, I'll probably pick Glenn Irwin as well, to be fair.
That's who I had, Glenn Irwin. Right, anyway. The format's kind of gone out the window by this stage.
It really has. I should have read the WhatsApp message.
Anyway, MotoGP World Superbikes are the real important ones. We've got our... Oh, I forgot to write down who picked who. Right. Hold on a minute. Oh, we can just listen to the podcast, can't we? But I'm going to listen to it again and write down and hold you to it. We're coming to the end of our first episode of our podcast. It's a Big Bad Bike Show. Woohoo! It's
It's only
not
supposed to be 20 minutes, wasn't it?
20 minutes.
Yeah, but
It's-
once he's edited it all bloody down.
It's not going to be 20 minutes.
Yeah, we've got like 2 hours.
But
It's only for 20. I reckon like an hour and 20.
yeah, an hour and 20,
No.
an hour and a half sounds about alright.
An hour and 20?
Yeah, why not?
We've been on this for like nearly 2 hours.
How long do you think it's going to be, Ash? Like 20 minutes? Yeah, so that we're coming to the end of the podcast. This is like I said, this is just an idea we had about a year and a half ago when we were drunk, and over the past month, 6 weeks, I've been pushing the idea to Ash and Chippy and trying to get them to go along with me, hold my hand through it so I don't have to do it by myself. If you've listened to it and you've enjoyed it, Well, good. I'm glad you've enjoyed it if you have enjoyed it. If you've not enjoyed it, then let us know. But if you've listened to it and you want to get in contact with us and give us any feedback at all on what we did right and what we didn't do right, or how we can change it, or what we should keep, the email address again is podcast@bigbadbs.co.uk. Please get in touch. Please let us know if you liked it or if you didn't like it. Like I said, any feedback at all, it's all welcome. You don't need to leave your name. You can leave a pseudonym if you want. I don't really mind. If you write us an email, chances are you'll be the only one. So you'll probably get read out in the podcast next week. If it's next week, are we in agreement that we would like to make this a weekly thing? Let's come out weekend.
I think so.
Yeah, but we'll try weekly.
Weekly things, all right.
We'll try weekly. If not weekly, it might be every 2 weeks, fortnightly. But we're going to try for weekly. Also, if you want to get in contact with us, you can do that through our Twitter. It's called The Big Bad BS. Very important. Chippy told me off because I wasn't going to say the, but you have to put the in there. The Big Bad BS. And that can get in touch with us on Twitter. Chippy's our social media guy, so he'll be keeping the Twitter page up to date with bike news and bike information. We're a one-stop shop. But yeah, so if you want to get in contact with us or you want to follow us, you can do that. This podcast, well, if you're listening to it, then you know where you can find it. Hopefully it'll be in like Apple, Spotify, YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever I can get it, basically. I'm a technophobe, so I'm the one taking charge of this, so God knows what's going to happen or how it's going to end up. But hopefully we can create something moving forward that everybody can enjoy, and we can start a community. We can get everybody together. And also moving forward, we're hoping that in the future, maybe not in the near future, but in the future we can have some guests on the show. We have spoke to one or two people, and we have ideas for a few other ones who have actually agreed to come on and have a chat with us. I can say that Valentina Rossi and Mark Marquez are not any of the two people we've been speaking to, but if they are listening, highly unlikely, but if they are listening and they want to come on and chat to us three randoms, we'd be more than happy to oblige. But yeah, we do have some people who are happy to come on and talk to us, but that's going to be in the future. But that's an idea, somewhere where we'd like the podcast to go. But it all depends on the listeners. If you're listening, please get in contact, let us know, and then we'll keep creating content for you. So that's the plug, basically. I can't think of anything else to say.
We have got the Who Am I thing to do.
Oh, yeah, Chippy's interested in this idea of a Who Am I like this as well. So
what's this?
So once again, Ash has not been reading.
Listen to read the WhatsApp.
He never reads the WhatsApp. So we're going to do.
I do read the WhatsApp. I just
you just don't take it. And at the end of each episode, we're going to do a Who Am I. So you give three random facts? Not random facts. 3 facts about somebody.
3 random clues.
3 clues about somebody, and then we're not trying to guess. It's for the listeners to guess, and then they can send us an email of who you think it is. Obviously, you can Google it, but that wouldn't be as fun if you just Google it. So, naughty listener, don't Google it.
Right, can I go first then?
No,
because I've already got one. If you read the messages last night, we're taking it in turns each week. So I'm doing this week's.
I've got next
week.
So
I don't have to do one.
No, you've got 2 weeks to prepare. So go ahead, right. Chippy. Who are you?
Right, so I was born in Blackburn in 1965. That is the first clue. Second clue, I hold the second highest number of World Superbike race wins at 59. And the last clue is I was awarded an MBE in 1998.
Right, there you go. That's your 3 clues. Try and guess who that is. Obviously, like I said, you can use Google or whatever search engine you use, but that wouldn't be as fun. Try and think who it is. Try and guess who it is. Email in with your name, and you will win a deep sense of pride if you're correct. We were thinking about giving you a cup, but we can't really afford to send one out. So maybe later.
We can't afford to send a cup when nobody would have listened to it yet.
Nobody's even listened to it. We've made merchandise. We've all got cups. Yeah. So get in contact. Tell us who you think that is. I'll have a think myself. I'll not use Google straight away. I've got some ideas, but I'm not going to say it on the podcast. So that's about
In the
it.
WhatsApp group, if you've got who it is.
Yeah, I'll put it in the WhatsApp group if I think who it is. The WhatsApp group, Ash, that group we're on where we talk to each other.
Do it right now.
So,
Don't Google it, Ash.
No, I'm just going to put who I think it is.
I'm just waiting to see what Ash put.
right, well, nothing
Yeah,
else.
got it.
Nothing else to do now but just say our farewells to the listeners. So, the Big Bad Bike Show. I've been your host, Sam McCauley, with Ash Haw and Chris Ballard, aka Chippy. And thanks for joining
Chippy's
us.
fine.
Chippy's fine. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
And, goodbye.
See you later.
Bye. See you later.